Watch Challenges for Caterers, a talk show with Shalim Hussain MBE.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back. We had a slight technical problem during the break, so the break was a bit longer than we planned. Anyway, I'd like to come back again to the current situation of the women entrepreneurs, the Bangladeshi women entrepreneurs in the United Kingdom, how we are transforming in our society, how we are finding it challenging and in a difficult business environment. And when our wives, mothers, sisters, they said to us they want to go into business, how do we react? And then when they do go into business, how do they find their environment? How's the access to credit, access to other services, advice, what is available out there? I'll come back to all these in a minute with our expert panel. But we do already have leading female entrepreneurs in our society today. And I'd like to mention that Councillor Aisha Chaudhry manages and owns and manages 50 properties and is very, very successful already. And I'm sure our sisters and mothers who are out there should take from that encouragement and come forward and get into the business. So really, what I can do is just relax in the house and have a good time with my children. I hope my wife is not watching. Right, so we move on swiftly to, I'd like to take another question from one of the audience, please.
Hello.
Assalamu alaikum. Your name?
I'm Farhana. I'm the best performer.
Mic take to Kasina.
Okay. Is it okay?
Yeah.
Okay now.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
Farhana Bari. I'm the best performer of NTV Cooking Queen competition 2014. I have a question for you. There's here in London, we live in the world's most multi-ethnic city. Is there a danger sometimes that we approach business with a village mentality?
Very good question.
Interesting.
Very, very, very good question. Right. I think we all should have a little bit contribution on this one. But please, you're dying to come say something on that.
Dying to come in because I do find like people who have flopped businesses when they start. When I started businesses twice and I flopped, and it's due to a lot of things. It's like market research, feasibility, your sustainability, and the profit. How
so
you
do we come in with a village mentality at the same? Because most of us who come from Bangladesh in this country are from villages.
Yeah. So what happens is if we think, oh, someone else done it like that, I'm going to do it, and this is what we do. We just copy somebody many times, and we do that. That sort of thing. I would say village mentality, rather than finding what I want to do. Am I good at it? My skills. Sit down and
basically not doing the research, market research, and all the other studies you go with. Now, how do you find out? You're very successful. So is this the?
Thank you. No, it's very interesting questions. But I would first of all I would say that if I don't talk about London, but even Newham, where I live and represent or work, I would say that in Newham alone we speak over 100 languages, 110 languages we speak. Now, go back home, wherever we, village or city, it's only one city, one village, the same thing. So obviously it's a huge sort of like difference between Bangladesh and the society we are living in this country. But I take it in a positive way, but then unless you are able to change yourself, you are able to learn from the whole community and society, unless you are able to not only culture and language, but there are so many other things you need to take into consideration.
But what the question was, do we approach it in a proper professional mentality or just a village mentality? That's what.
If we don't sort of like approach in a professional and proper way, then obviously the business will go flop. But you don't want to. Doesn't matter. You start your business in a small scale or big scale. You do invest into it, money, resource, time, energy, and everything. Obviously, you try to build that up. But then if you don't do the homework, if you are not aware of all the other relevant information, not just relevant information, but the outside environment. Say, for example, if I keep thinking about my own culture, Bangladeshi community, I am not likely to be able to successful. I have to think about my neighbor, I have to think about my customer, clients, what are the needs for them, and what am I going to be doing
basically
differently?
a feasibility study in as well as a market research
Absolutely.
feasibility study.
That's
So
right.
Dr. Datta, so
Can I say, I think, thank you for a very interesting question. You see, I always say that context is the king. We are living in the UK. As Appa said that 110 languages. In the UK, 310 languages are spoken. And second city is the New York. So whole human civilizations and human, actually the doctrine is purely based on mind, body and soul. Soul can be in Bangladesh, but mind and body should be changed. Means Bangladesh, when you say the village mentality, means the mentality in relation to Bangladeshi context. That mentality has positive and also negative. Positive in that sense that dignifications, respect, the cooperations, the collaborations, respect to elders, and living in harmony, that you don't need to change. But what you have to change, like outlook, the body. That is the professionalism. Human capital means the developing your skills, competencies, and developing the benchmark. So understanding benchmark means getting the opportunity of what you have in the UK, and also bringing the feasibility study to the market research, and look at or compare yourself to others. Means we say that self-reflections. So what you don't have to do, that bringing both, you see the soul, mind and body, everything here. We are living here, we have to look at what is happening here, and we have to see that here is the context.
Great.
And we should focus on that.
Dilara, your last words. I mean, you have 320 women entrepreneurs. And how do they approach it again? With a village mentality or professionalism?
Not all of them are entrepreneurs. Some of them are aspiring entrepreneurs. But I think it's about, like our panelists have already said it, it's about market research and what is the actual need. What is it that people want to see in the market? It's not about what, the boutique next door is doing well. The PFC next door is doing well, let's just do another one, because this is quite typical of our community, that once we are successful in one industry, it almost goes like a sort of a volcano, that there's hundreds and hundreds keep on coming. So I think it's about changing our mindset and being much more dynamic and looking into innovative businesses.
It's about finding the gap, basically, not copying others. Finding the gap.
Finding the gap and something that you're passionate about. Because if you don't enjoy something, then you're not going to be able to put your time and energy and enjoy developing that business.
Well, excellent. I hope that has answered your question. I'd like to take another question from one of the audience, please.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalam.
My name is Shami Huda. Thank you for inviting me here. And my question is, does the special circumstance in the term of family impact female entrepreneurs in achieving their goals?
So, does the social circumstances in the terms of the family impact female entrepreneurs have an impact in entrepreneurs achieving their goals, Doctor?
I think you see the way we are actually living, especially Bangladeshi female entrepreneurs, so aspiring entrepreneurs, or the whole community. We have the different types of understanding and thoughts and cultural heritage that females are seen to serve the family, while male lead the family or lead the society. So we have so many problems looking after the children.
So how do we overcome them? And is this affecting women getting into business? I mean, you are.
I think somewhere, yes, because hands are tied up there. So we have the less amount of time. So means that somehow it's actually segregating.
Sorry, Doctor. When you go to the community, you're a community activist. I mean, how do you find it?
It's a lot of stereotyping. How we are very conservative, and I'd not like to see women. We're not comfortable to see women doing businesses, and in the house we've been saying.
Why are we not? I mean, we come from Bangladesh and we've been ruled by two ladies for the last, well, as long as I can remember, last 20 years, 30 years.
See,
so
why are
we
that happened
uncomfortable?
accidentally? You know, one of them is daughter of the country's, Pita, and the other one.
I think everybody knows
so it happened
So
it happened that way because I think that was an accident. But it's lovely to see women are very at the top of, in the level of in Mantri of our country, Pradhan Mantri, right? So, but the other side, I say, like a man, I don't particularly feel sometimes intimidated by seeing women doing well.
Men feel intimidated by women doing well.
Yeah.
I don't, unfortunately, I have no man here today to ask.
Yeah, I'll say that now. Next week, someone can come.
Can I speak on both of us?
No, please, please.
We are not intimidated at all. We want women to succeed and prosper, so we can take a back seat and relax in the house.
Yeah, this is what you said. You want to sit down. This is you.
I agree with Saida Babi. I think I do agree with Saida Babi, and but I won't go into a debate because.
So is your husband intimidated by your success?
Because my husband is not intimidated by me or my success, I am in this position because I have support from him. But if all the husbands were like my husband, all the women would have been in my position, and I would like to see, I'm hoping and looking forward to see all the women coming forward. When I would say women have all the skills, ability, quality, whatever you need to have a successful business, the women have all these qualities in them. Just they need to be able to develop that, and to overcome all the problems we are having, I think we have to have a different culture and mentality and support from the family. This is something we already have, but support in a different way we need. Say, for example, most of the time, as women, after having a baby or something, they would have to be at home to take care of their child. Okay, this is something understandable. After a short period.
But with the new laws, the man can also stay behind.
They can, but then again, it's your choice. Either you want to stay or not. But with a woman, she has no choice, I think. Now, what I am thinking is...
She does have a choice. She can, if she's the main bread earner, if she's earning more money, she can ask her husband to stay in the house.
How many women are the main earner in a family? If we are talking about the majority, but if I can just add something else, which is, like, say, for example, after a short break, it's really hard to go back to the mainstream jobs. It's almost impossible because it's competition and all sorts of, like, you have to compete with not only just the male colleagues, but all the new qualified, experienced people as well. So this is the other reason why women choose to go into a business where she can be independent. But I would like to remind people that once you go into a business without either experience or current experience, I should say, not what you have done 5 years ago, it is not likely to be successful, and this is why you have to go back to education, because in business it's not just whatever business we are talking about, it's not just that business. You have to have knowledge, skills and experience of not only literature but numeracy. Finance is something major.
Yeah, without numbers, we've seen it in The Apprentice so many times. If you can't get your numbers right, then you have a problem. Apprentice, that brings me nicely onto Dilara, who obviously been trying to do apprentices in Bangladesh. So if I can come back to you again, we come back to the question of our social structure of our family, but also most of the Bangladeshis in the United Kingdom are of the Islamic heritage, the Muslims. And how does religion come into it anyway?
I think from my personal experience, I'm not in a position to actually talk in detail about religion. I'm not knowledgeable enough.
You have
but
members,
I think from
from
a common sense, from seeing people around me and myself, I think the experience, there's no doubt that the woman, in terms of her entrepreneurial development and the success, is to a certain element hindered by the social and family responsibilities that she has. For instance, myself, I have 3 children. I cannot go out at any time I want to, where it will be much more business viable. I cannot stay out till late because I have home responsibilities. I need to provide food, I need to look after my house. Those are my priorities. So when your business isn't your priorities, as a businessman, you would know that your business is then second to your family.
I'm going to say something, and hopefully nothing will fly towards me when I'm saying this. But we have traditional men who seen women, or they see women as partners to raise a successful family, and men are out there doing the work, and they expect the women, the female, the other partner, to manage the family, the house, the children, and bring them up. And I bring Islam into it in such a way. Isn't God has sent women to this world to do that part of raising the children, looking after the family? I mean, is that not more important than going out and getting a job?
Definitely. I think in terms of the model, the social model, we've moved on. And
the model has changed. Are we embracing Western culture in such a way that we are forgetting our Bangladeshi Islamic heritage?
No, if you go back 200 years ago, the model was same as the model would have been same as it was in Bangladesh.
The Prophet's wife, the first one, she was a businesswoman.
One of the most successful businesswomen.
How did she manage? And ladies, when they gave birth, they had wet nurse to feed the baby. So there is to make them more relaxed
I'm
and
just bringing
more.
the question. That's why I said nothing.
I think this is, and I just come back. I think this is where, in terms of Islamic context, I am not, you know, as I've said, I am not a scholar. But I think from the basic knowledge that I have, that we've talked about Khadija, we've talked about Aisha radiallahu anhu. These were very super powerful women, and if we actually research
they are the role models.
They are the role models, and this is inevitably, this is why we ask our brothers and our fathers and our sons to actually research into their lives and the legacy that they've left behind, because there's a lot to learn from those, and to encourage our wives and our sisters and daughters to actually, as well as obviously maintain your social responsibility, but also in terms of business and their personal aspiration, that if they so wish to be housewives and be at home, that's fine. But if they wish to do something else with themselves and be in a level playing field in terms of economically viable, then they should be allowed, you know, they should, that platform should be given.
Well, my feeling is that I can only speak for myself. If any female in my family wanted to prosper and go out and do business, then of course they should be allowed. I mean,
because you want to become a house husband instead during the break.
I'm actually actively promoting in my family my daughters to go into businesses. Not only should be in businesses. I've given my daughters the freedom to choose to do what they want. I love for one of them to come into my business and take it forward.
See, it is quite natural, you as a father, and I don't think, I mean, on a general context, I don't think no fathers, no husband or brothers genuinely do not want to encourage. I think these are sort of a handful of numbers which may feel insecure, but I think in a general context, people want to, but I think it's the lack of awareness, it's being afraid whether they'll be successful or unsuccessful. And I think people are afraid of
just being unsuccessful. Because you're a successful entrepreneur, right? So you have in-laws in your family, or sorry, Aisha, sorry.
I do have in-laws.
And you all live together?
No.
So you live with your husband separate?
That's right, yes.
Right.
Yeah,
so how you becoming involved in business in such a way and
but I had support from both my my in-laws as well as my parents, siblings, the wider sort of like family. I had support. But what I was going to say from Dilara, sorry, I forgot that point. But yeah, I'll let you continue with your question. I think I'm getting forgetful or getting old.
It happens. It happens. No, it happens to all of us.
You know, sorry, I'm interrupting. Yes, you carry on.
Yeah, no, sorry. What was your question again?
The question was, you're already successful entrepreneur in your family. So how did you find it in your family about your in-laws or your other siblings or anybody elder than you, and how did they react when you went into business?
Sure. I obviously I had support. I mean, say for example, when my children were young, I had family members to take care of.
This business of yours, did you found it or did your husband found it when you went into it?
I think, well, before I had my husband, because before I was married, I mean, I can say like 25 years ago when I came in England to join my parents, I decided to study construction. At that time, I was the only female student in my class. So yeah, it was something challenging.
So you're a builder.
I wanted to be, well, I wanted to be an architect, but I had to do all these like bricklaying things.
So did you find the business? Did you found the business or your husband started the business? Who started the business?
We both started at the same time, actually. Okay. Yeah, we both started at the same time.
That's where they met.
Very correct.
Sorry, I wanted to add something that when you mentioned about your daughter, we have got many positive things in our culture and community, but there are some negative things in it as well, and all are not the same. When we talk about our daughters, we talk in a way, we create opportunities, I think, and I'm talking about, I think, a percentage, not about the whole community. But when we talk about our daughter-in-law,
I was afraid you were going to come to that.
I was going to say, do we create or assist them with the same opportunity?
Right. Can I just quickly come on to
This
that? Because this lady is a daughter-in-law in your family. So is she getting the right support?
She's too loud. I don't think anybody can stop
there we
her.
go. So your daughter will give support, and we have a daughter-in-law in your family who is not getting the support. Aisha. Saida, sorry. I'm getting confused.
Are we still on the social structure?
Yes, we're still in the social structure.
Well, it's going back to the same thing, like Dilara says, social hours is a constraint, like women in general can't.
So, can I go back? Are you finding the support from your family?
Oh, is it me? Oh, yes. Yes,
you are for everybody.
I'm being a spoiled one, really, to be honest, because from my dad.
If she does not get the support, she will get it. So this is the other thing. Like as a woman, you have to be able to get it. Like no one is going to give you support.
Hang on. So if a man automatically receives support, why should women have to fight for it?
This is something you have to answer, not me.
Oh.
But I think.
Okay. I should have asked the question.
But I would say to all my sisters out there and on the audience that you have to remember, you won't get anything automatically. Nothing is coming to your plate. You have to ask.
On the subject, you have to ask and you have to fight for your right. When the son or the brother gets automatically, you have to fight for it. I'd like to take one last question on this segment before we go to break.
What are the main reasons Bangladeshi females choose entrepreneurships in the UK?
What are the main reasons? Dilara, this is another subject for you. You've got the entrepreneurs.
I think I can sort of generalize, and I think entrepreneurship still is almost at a fetus stage in terms of British Bangladeshi community. So we haven't seen enough. If you go back to Bangladesh, Bangladesh is one of the pioneering and one of the excelling countries in terms of female entrepreneurship. So there's a lot to learn for us from there.
An example like?
Example is I've just came back from Bangladesh a few days ago, and during my visits I meet up with some of the world's country's most powerful women, and some of them are obviously have sort of inherited, and some are self-made entrepreneurs. And these are people like who've been world recognized, people like Farzana Chowdhury, you've got people like Rubana Haq, you've got Gitiara Chowdhury, and these are people not just very young people.
But still they're very small.
These are small, but if you go into the normal entrepreneurship from the grassroots level, there are hundreds and thousands of women who are very successful, regardless of the size of the businesses, and there are support mechanisms there. So I think there's a lot that we can learn from into our community.
Yeah, on this I'd like to come in, and if you look at our Bangladeshi society and Bangladeshi women in Bangladesh, I grew up till age of 11 and a half in Bangladesh, and I remember women. They're growing chickens, they're growing ducks, they're selling eggs, they're planting vegetables. So they are actively involved. And I haven't seen that in other societies as much as I see in Bangladesh.
Definitely.
And the women are doing all the work, and all the men do is take it to the market and sell. But everything behind the women is doing.
And this is what we've forgotten in this country. This is what we've forgotten.
I saw my mom doing business in Bangladesh. I came here when I was 8 or 9. She had an engineering welding shop. She used to go to Chittagong from Sylhet to bring cylinders, gas cylinders, and she used to bring. And I saw that she was able, but here she didn't get the opportunity when she came here. So I think the opportunity, but now I think we are opening up because of the language, that we can speak the language. Because my mom couldn't explore with what she had, because
but still she did very well.
Very well back there, yeah. So what we are, I think, easier for us, because I think the security, social security here, safer for us to become entrepreneurs or do start business.
That's a very good point.
Because in Bangladesh, because in Bangladesh, I've seen, like, you know, the lady who did chemical industry in Bangladesh. She was in America, and so she went to Bangladesh, and now she's been there 15 years. She started with only 50,000 taka, some very minimum. Now she's turnover is what, 400 million. And we met her this recently, me and Dilara. I'm with them on their
entrepreneurship. So you made a very good point.
Can I add
on
something?
That point, yeah, please.
I think the question is very interesting, but we didn't address directly these questions. Now, in the UK context, the reasons why females are trying to enter into the business. One is that finance, always the financial motivations. Second, we call it the blocked upward the trends. It means the discrimination. The discrimination can come underemployment, employment discrimination, job dissatisfactions, and so on. Other factors like push factors means the societal norm, cultural background. They like to push themselves and prove themselves that they can do something and sustain something. other factors which is very important factors within the community level, that is called status quo or status argument. That being an entrepreneur, you are clustering yourself in certain position, you see. And other factor obviously that having the financial freedom and being your own boss.
So we have
these are some of the factors.
We have to go to break
and flexibility,
because we have to go to break on time. There is Azan. So just briefly summarize here. Just remember what I said. Remember our mothers and our dadis and our nannies doing in business in Bangladesh, growing vegetables, having chickens, having ducks, selling eggs. And we've been doing it for centuries. And we forgot all of that. And maybe it's all coming back. I'll see you shortly after the break. We'll continue.
Watch Challenges for Caterers, a talk show with Shalim Hussain MBE.